The dialogue problem. Why your characters all sound like you. Hook, 0:00:30. Read this. I find it quite interesting, said James, that you would choose to confront me at this particular moment. Well, replied Sarah, I felt that it was the appropriate time to address the situation, given the circumstances. I see, said James. That is a fair point. That dialogue is technically correct. Every word is spelled right. The punctuation is perfect, and it is completely, utterly dead on the page. No real person talks like that, and your reader knows it, even if they can't articulate why. Today we're going to fix your dialogue from the ground up. Welcome back to the Story Forge. Real craft, real tools, real results. Let's get into it. Here's the paradox of dialogue in fiction. It should sound like real speech, but it can't actually be real speech, because real speech is full of filler words, false starts, half-finished thoughts, and repeated phrases. If you transcribed a real conversation and put it in your novel, it would be unreadable. So written dialogue has to do something harder than real speech. It has to sound real while actually being compressed, purposeful, and doing at least 2 or 3 things at once. That is the craft of it. And most new writers miss that craft in one of 2 ways. The first is dialogue that sounds too polished. Every character expresses themselves in complete, grammatically perfect sentences. Woody. No one talks like this. Real speech has rhythm, interruption, deflection. The second is dialogue that sounds too real. Every rambling sentence, every tangent included. Technically authentic, but dramatically inert. Great dialogue lives in the space between. Let me give you 4 rules that will immediately improve every line of dialogue you write. Rule 1. Every character should sound different. This is the most fundamental test of dialogue craft, and most writers fail it. Close your eyes and cover the dialogue tags. Read just the spoken words. Can you tell who is speaking without being told? Every character has a vocabulary, a rhythm, a level of formality, a way of expressing doubt or confidence or anger that is specific to them. A retired military officer and a 20-year-old barista do not describe the same thing in the same way. A character who grew up in poverty and a character who grew up wealthy choose different words without thinking about it. To build this, make a voice document for each major character before you write them. Write 10 things they would say about a random topic. The weather, a meal, a traffic jam. Get their voice in your ear before you put it on the page. Rule 2. Dialogue is action, not information delivery. The worst dialogue is dialogue that exists only to deliver plot information to the reader. As you know, Bob, we've been working at this company for 15 years. Nobody says, as you know, in real life. This is a writer using a character's mouth to explain things to the reader. Readers feel this. They call it on the nose, because it lands directly on the nose without any subtext, any friction, any realness. Real people almost never say exactly what they mean. They deflect, they hedge, they change the subject. They say the opposite of what they feel. They say what they're supposed to say instead of what they want to say. The tension between what a character says and what they actually mean, that is subtext. And subtext is where most of the emotional weight of your story lives. Rule 3. Cut the dialogue tags, he said. And she said, are invisible. Readers process them automatically without noticing them. They're fine. But he exclaimed, and she retorted, these are not fine. They call attention to themselves. They slow the reader down. They feel like the author trying to direct. Let the dialogue do the emotional work. If the line is written correctly, you don't need to tell the reader it was said angrily. Angry dialogue sounds angry. Replace most non-said tags with action beats. Instead of, get out, she said bitterly. Try. She walked to the door and held it open. Get out. The action beat shows the emotion. It also advances the scene visually, and it doesn't interrupt the reader's flow. Rule 4. People don't finish each other's sentences. They talk past each other. One of the most realistic things you can put in dialogue is people not quite answering the question that was asked. In real conversation, people are always partly listening and partly formulating their response. Characters who deflect, interrupt, pivot, or simply move on to what they want to talk about. These feel more human than characters who respond neatly and completely. Try this exercise. Take a scene where 2 characters are having a conversation. Now decide. What does each character actually want from this conversation? What are they afraid of revealing? What are they hoping the other will say but would never ask for directly? Write that conversation with those hidden agendas in mind. See how different it becomes. Here is your exercise for this week. Find any dialogue scene in your current manuscript, or write a new one from scratch. Step 1, read it aloud. All of it. If it sounds unnatural coming out of your mouth, it will sound unnatural in your reader's head. Your ear is a better editor than your eye for dialogue. Step 2, cover the dialogue tags and identify who is speaking by voice alone. If you can't do it, the characters aren't differentiated enough. Step 3, identify every line where a character says exactly what they mean. Those are your candidates for subtext rewrites. What would this character say instead if they were protecting themselves? Deflecting, lying just slightly. Step 4, replace at least 3, he said. Purchase, he said, tags with action beats. You'll feel the difference immediately. The scene will have weight it didn't have before. Dialogue is the place where character and plot collide on the page. Every conversation is a negotiation. What each person wants, what they're willing to reveal, what they're trying to protect. Write it that way, your characters will start feeling like people. Next week, we're talking about point of view, one of the most misunderstood decisions a novelist makes, and why getting it wrong can undermine everything else that is working in your book. I'll see you then.